Part 1. Introduction. The day everything changed, _. He thought the worst day of his life was just a rough morning. Until he checked his voicemail. That's how it begins for most of us, doesn't it? Not with lightning, not with fanfare, but with something so ordinary. You don't even realize your life has split in two before and after. It's a Tuesday, or maybe a Thursday, coffee's bitter. You're running late, maybe it's raining, maybe not. But on that day, something happens, a breakup, a betrayal, a diagnosis, an accident, a moment of pure clarity, or sheer chaos, and it changes you. But here's the real twist. That wasn't the worst day of your life. It was the beginning of the best version of you, _. The setting. This story could be yours. Imagine this. You're 25, or 32, or 19, living in a city that feels too big or too small. A job you thought would be more, a relationship you thought would last longer. You're scrolling through your phone, wondering if anyone really understands you, and quietly terrified they might. There's a voice in your head whispering, "Is this it? Is this all there is?" But deep down there's another part of you, the part that hasn't given up, that's quietly gathering strength. And it's waiting for a moment, a spark, a collapse. Something that will force you to wake up and rebuild from scratch. This is the moment we talk about, _. Meet the main character. You've probably been told your life is a straight line: study, work, marry, succeed. But if you're honest, your life's more like a playlist on shuffle: heartbreak, healing, mistakes, triumphs, lost friendships, rediscovered dreams. Maybe you've been the golden child, the rebel, the overachiever, the wanderer. Maybe you've made decisions you can't explain. Maybe you've survived things you never told anyone about. But here you are, still breathing, still trying, still becoming. You may not realize it, but everything you've lived through, every argument, every failure, every moment of stillness and storm, has been preparing you for something bigger, something wiser, something deeper. And no, you're not late, you're right on time, _. The storm is coming, and then it happens. You lose your job. You lose someone you love. You look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. Or maybe nothing big happens. Maybe it's just a slow fading, like your spirit's been eroding, one sleepless night at a time. A kind of quiet crisis that builds until you realize you can't keep living like this, and that's where everything starts to shift. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger, _. The question that changes everything. So here's the real question. What are the 10 experiences that made you who you are today? Not just the highlight reel, not just the wins, but the pain, the silence. The nights you almost gave up, the moments you chose love. The mornings you started again, even if no one noticed. This isn't just a list, it's a journey. A quiet, powerful, beautifully messy unraveling of what it means to be you. And underneath it all is a deeper truth, one that philosophy, psychology, and ancient wisdom have been whispering for centuries. You can't control what life throws at you. But you can control who you become because of it. That's the essence of Stoicism, a philosophy born from war, exile, and hardship, but more relevant now than ever in a world of chaos, overthinking, and dopamine loops. And this journey, your journey, is a mirror of those timeless truths, _. So let's begin. Let's go back, not just to remember, but to understand. To gather the fragments, to trace the scars. To celebrate the quiet, gritty, stubborn parts of you that refuse to give up. Because in the end, the story of who you are isn't written in comfort, it's etched in transformation, and this is how it all began. Part 2, the first lesson: control. You can't control life, but you can control your response, underscore. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you steer the boat. One day, you wake up and realize everything you thought was stable, your job, your relationship, your health, your friends, even your sense of self, can disappear in an instant. Someone you trusted turns their back. A single email wipes out the dream you've chased for 5 years. A health checkup suddenly drags you into a whirlwind you were never taught how to survive. And suddenly, you feel completely out of control, underscore. That moment, you learn your first real lesson. Not from a book, not from a self-help course, but from pain, real pain, the kind that leaves you sitting frozen in a quiet room, heart pounding, head spinning, hands cold with fear. And then, a thought creeps in, quiet, but undeniable. I can't change what happened, but I can decide how I respond, underscore. Control, the most important boundary. Stoic philosophy, it might sound ancient, but it's incredibly practical, begins with just one principle: distinguish between what you can control and what you can't. You can't control how other people treat you, what society thinks of you, who stays and who leaves, the outcome of your efforts. Random events like accidents, pandemics, or economic crash. But you can control how you respond to difficult emotions. Your attitude in the face of failure. Whether you choose to stay grounded instead of lashing out. How you carry on after being hurt. Your daily habits, your mindset, your choices. Underscore. A real story, heartbroken, but reborn, meet and 28 years old. She thought she was going to marry her long-term partner. They planned a life together, a house, a wedding, maybe kids. Then one day, he texted her, "I'm sorry, I just don't feel it anymore." And fell apart. Sleepless nights, no appetite, couldn't work. It felt like the ground had vanished under her feet. Then, while scrolling through Reddit, yes, Reddit, she saw this: you don't control who stays. You control who you become when they leave. That was the turning point. She started again, little by little, working out, learning to cook, going out alone, journaling, not to prove anything to anyone, but to reclaim control over her life. Today, and isn't just okay, she's free. Underscore. Modern life. When feeling out of control becomes normal. In today's world, we're constantly pushed to chase validation from others, likes, shares, engagement, fast success to keep up with our peers. And when we fall short, we feel like failures, but that's just an illusion. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, what in this situation is actually within my control? You can't force someone to love you, but you can learn to love yourself. You can't stop a company from laying you off, but you can turn that into a chance to rediscover your worth. You can't control how people perceive you, but you can choose peace over proving yourself. Underscore. A powerful Stoic quote: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Simple, but it can completely change how you see stress and anxiety. You think people hate you. Maybe they don't. You think you're going to fail. That's just a story your mind made up. You think life is too harsh. Maybe you're just focusing too much on the parts you can't control. Underscore. Try this 7-day challenge. For the next 7 days, every time you feel stressed or anxious, pause and ask yourself, what am I trying to control that's actually outside my power? Then ask, what can I actually do in this situation? For example, instead of thinking, why isn't he texting me back? I can spend time on hobbies or building my own goals. Instead of, my boss doesn't appreciate me, I can improve my skills or look for a better fit elsewhere. Small questions, big clarity. Underscore. What do you realize now? Nobody is born strong, but the strongest people are those who learn where their power begins and ends, and focus only on what they can change. That's not giving up. That's the wisdom of letting go when it's time. It's like learning to swim. You don't fight the water. You learn to move with it, without letting it drown you. And for the first time in a long time, you'll start to feel peace returning, not because life got easier, but because you're no longer trying to control the entire world. You're just steering your own boat, and that's more than enough. Part 3, the second lesson: self-discipline. Master yourself before you master the world. If you want to be strong first, learn to say no to your own weakness. At some point, you realize the world isn't your biggest obstacle. You are, not the job, not the heartbreak, not the algorithm, or society, or bad luck. It's the voice inside your head at 2 a.m. that whispers, you can quit. No one will know. It's the urge to scroll, instead of study. To avoid, instead of face. To escape, instead of build. That harsh moment, when you meet the real enemy. You set goals, wake up at 6 a.m. Go to the gym, write every day. Meditate, eat clean, but then your alarm rings, you snooze it, you get a free hour, you waste it. You say, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. Self-discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. In the world of Stoicism, self-discipline is not about becoming cold, robotic, or emotionless. It's about building inner structure, so when chaos hits, and it always does, you don't fall apart. You stay centered, you keep your word, you do what's right, even when it's hard. Real example: the girl who trained her mind like a muscle. Nina was 25. She had just started her own creative business, designing online journals. But she couldn't focus. One day she was super productive. The next, she was doom scrolling TikTok for hours. Her business wasn't growing, her self-confidence was crashing. So she did something radical. She treated self-discipline like training a puppy, with consistency, reward, and love. She started with just 10 minutes of deep work a day. Then added a daily walk, phone-free. She tracked her habits, not her outcomes. She rewarded herself, not for results, but for showing up. Fast forward 1 year, Nina now runs a successful journaling brand with 2K+ followers. But more than that, she trusts herself now, and that's the real win. Why we fail: it's not laziness, it's lack of clarity. Most of us don't stick to good habits because we aim too high, too fast. We don't define what success actually looks like. We tie discipline to punishment, not purpose. But what if you flip the script? What if discipline became an act of self-respect? Stoic insight: discipline is rooted in reason, not control. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. When the world outside is crazy, what do you lean on? Habits, routines, virtues, not because they make you better than others, but because they protect you from yourself when things get dark. Try this, the one rule mindset. Pick one simple rule you never break. No matter what, rain or shine, good mood or bad mood. Examples: I journal 5 minutes every night. I drink water before coffee. I move my body 15 minutes daily. I don't scroll in bed. Start with 1. The rule becomes your anchor, and soon, your anchor becomes your identity. Discipline equals identity. Here's the secret: you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And systems only work when they're built on discipline. Discipline is not about being strong. It's about saying, I keep my promises even to myself. And when you do that long enough, you stop needing motivation. You just become the kind of person who does the work. Relevant Stoic quote, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best of yourself?" Epictetus, that quote hits hard, because you know the answer, it's time. You don't need a perfect plan. You need consistency over intensity. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be better than yesterday. And when you realize that, you become dangerous. Because now you're not waiting on life. You're moving through it with purpose. Part 4. The third lesson, amor fati, love your fate. Even the dark parts. What if the worst thing that ever happened to you became the best thing that ever shaped you? Sounds crazy, right? Why would anyone love failure, or heartbreak, or losing everything? But that's exactly what the Stoics challenge us to do. Not just accept pain, but embrace it, to lean into the fire. To say, this too is part of the story. The heartbreak that led to rebirth. Let me tell you a story. There was a man, let's call him Daniel. At 29, he thought he had it all: dream job, loving girlfriend, a cozy apartment with plants he actually kept alive. Then one night, she left, no warning, no explanation. Just a note: "I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry." Daniel's world collapsed. Days became a blur, nights were worse. He tried everything: distractions, drinking, even disappearing from social media. Nothing helped. Until one night, scrolling in the dark, he came across a quote. "The obstacle is the way." Marcus Aurelius. It hit him like lightning. Maybe this pain wasn't a dead end. Maybe it was a doorway. Amor fati, love of fate. Amor fati means more than accept your destiny. It means, love whatever life throws your way. Not in a toxic just be positive way, but in a deep, powerful way that says, "This is hard, but it's mine. I didn't ask for this, but I will rise through it. This storm will shape me." Psychological strength, choosing meaning over misery. We can't always control what happens, but we can assign meaning to it. Got fired. Maybe this forces you to finally build your dream. Got ghosted. Maybe that pain shows you how deeply you're capable of love. Failed your exam. Maybe this humbles you to rebuild from the ground up. Every adversity is a teacher, but only if you listen. How Daniel rebuilt. He started journaling. Every night, no filter, he wrote letters to the version of himself he wanted to become. He read Stoic texts, he studied grief, he trained his mind like a warrior. And 1 year later, Daniel didn't just get over the breakup. He became someone far stronger than the man she left. He started coaching others through emotional healing. He turned his darkest hour into his greatest gift. What stands in the way becomes the way. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Marcus Aurelius. What a quote, because most of the time, it's not the thing that breaks us. It's our story about it. It's not the failure. It's thinking we are the failure. It's not the loss. It's believing we'll never recover. But with amor fati, the story changes. This is part of my becoming. This is where I earn my strength. This will not destroy me. It will define me. Try this, the reframe ritual. Next time something goes wrong, do this. 1. Write the event down in one sentence. Be factual, no emotions. My best friend betrayed me. 2. Underneath it, write this question: how might this be the best thing that ever happened to me? 3. Don't force an answer. Just sit with the question. 4. Revisit it in a week. You'll be surprised what changes. Amor fati is not surrender, it's power. It doesn't mean we stop trying. It means we stop fighting reality. Because fighting life only makes us bitter. But flowing with it, even in grief, makes us wise. You lose something. Let it teach you, you get rejected. Let it refine you. You hit rock bottom, that's where the foundation is. Underscore. Final thought for this chapter. What if your most painful moment was preparing you for your most powerful self? Amor fati isn't a philosophy for comfort. It's a philosophy for courage, to face what hurts, to keep moving anyway. And to smile, even in the storm. Because you know something most people don't, the storm isn't here to break you. It's here to build you. Part 5. Memento Mori, remember you will die. Underscore. What if the only way to truly live is to remember that you will die? It's the ultimate paradox. Death, the one thing we fear, avoid, and push to the back of our minds, might actually be the thing that saves us, that wakes us up, that clears the noise, that forces us to live with urgency and intention. Underscore. The whisper we ignore. Let's be honest. Most of us act like we're going to live forever. We scroll like we have infinite time. We put off our dreams until later. We stay in jobs that drain us, relationships that numb us, routines that kill our spark. But later is not guaranteed. You know it, I know it, but we forget. That's why Memento Mori is not about being morbid, it's about being awake. Underscore. A Roman tradition, a modern wake-up call. In ancient Rome, when a victorious general returned from battle, a slave would ride beside him in the chariot and whisper in his ear, Memento Mori. Remember you are mortal. Imagine that. At the height of your glory, a reminder of your end. Not to depress you, but to ground you, to keep your ego in check. To remind you, this moment is fleeting, treasure it. Underscore. Psychological insight. Death awareness equals life clarity. Modern psychologists call it mortality salience, the awareness that we're going to die. But research shows something wild. The more we're aware of death, the more meaningful, intentional, and grateful we become. It's like a spotlight on your values. What do I really want? What legacy do I want to leave? Am I living like my time actually matters? Underscore. The story of Ava. Ava was 33 when she got the diagnosis. Stage 3 cancer, aggressive. She cried, she screamed, she begged the universe for more time. Then something shifted. She started asking different questions. What would I do if I only had 6 months left? Who do I need to forgive? What part of me have I been hiding? She quit her job. She took her daughter to the ocean. She wrote letters to every person who ever changed her life. She danced in the kitchen with the music too loud. And somehow, her soul came alive. Her cancer eventually went into remission. But Ava says something powerful. It wasn't the treatment that healed me. It was the wake-up call. Underscore. Memento Mori practices for today. You don't need a diagnosis to live like Ava. Try these. 1. Morning reflection. Ask yourself each morning, if this were my last day, how would I show up? Not to create fear, but to cut through distractions. 2. Visual reminders. An hourglass on your desk. A calendar counting down your weeks like the Life in Weeks chart. Black and white photos of ancestors or childhood. These aren't creepy, they're sacred. They whisper, don't waste this. 3. End-of-life journaling. Write your own eulogy. Ask, what do I want to be remembered for? What would I regret not doing? What stories do I want people to tell about me? It's confronting, but also clarifying. Underscore. From fear to freedom. Memento Mori doesn't make life darker. It makes it brighter. You stop obsessing over petty drama. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You tell people you love them today. You take that trip. You make that leap, not because you're reckless, but because you're finally awake. Underscore. Quote to carry. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius. It's not morbid, It's liberating. Because when you know the clock is ticking, you stop wasting time on what doesn't matter, and you start building a life that does. Underscore. Memento Mori equals memento vivere. Remember you will die equals remember to live. So many people are alive, but not truly living. Don't be one of them. Let this moment, right now, be your wake-up. Because death isn't the end of the story. It's the reason to make the story worth telling. Part 6. Living with virtue, the only thing that's truly yours. Underscore. What if success isn't about what you achieve, but who you become in the process? That's the Stoic answer to the question every generation asks. How do I live a good life? Not with more stuff, not with applause, not even with happiness, at least, not directly, but with virtue. Underscore. The 4 cardinal virtues of Stoicism. The Stoics believe that if you lived by these 4 values, no matter what life threw at you, you were untouchable. Why? Because no one can take these from you, they are fully in your control. Let's break them down, not as abstract ideas, but as everyday choices. Underscore. 1. Wisdom, seeing clearly. Wisdom isn't about IQ, it's about clarity. It's asking, what's really going on here? What am I responsible for? What matters most right now? It's thinking before reacting. It's choosing truth over comfort. Real-life application. Before sending that angry text, pause. Before quitting your job in frustration. Think long-term, before judging someone. Ask what you're not seeing. Wisdom is restraint. Wisdom is perspective. Wisdom is learning, even when it hurts. Underscore 2. Courage, doing what's right especially when it's hard. We think courage is loud, dramatic, heroic, but Stoic courage is quiet. It's telling the truth when it costs you. Standing alone when no one claps. Saying I was wrong, showing up again after failure. Modern courage looks like starting therapy. Leaving a toxic relationship, admitting you're scared, and doing it anyway. Courage isn't fearlessness, it's moving forward with fear in your pocket. Underscore 3. Justice, living with integrity. This isn't about the courtroom. Justice, to the Stoics, means do the right thing, even when no one's watching. In a world where ethics are negotiable and lines get blurry, this is radical. It means being honest in business, treating the janitor like the CEO, speaking up when someone's being wronged, even if it's uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." Not the outcome, not the applause, just the right thing. Underscore 4. Temperance, the art of self-control. This is the virtue we most avoid. Why? Because we live in a world of more. More dopamine, more noise, more speed. We binge, scroll, crave, and overdo. Temperance says, pause, balance. Discipline, it's 1 glass of wine instead of 5. Getting up early even when it's cold, not chasing every impulse. It's not about punishment, it's about power. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Underscore. Virtue equals identity. Here's the twist. Virtue isn't something you achieve. It's who you are when no one's watching. It's your soul in motion, not how many followers you have. Not how much money you make, not even how many good deeds you do publicly. But, did I act with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control, even when it was hard? That's success, that's fulfillment, that's how Stoics measured a life. Underscore. Everyday practices to build virtue. 1. The evening review, Marcus's favorite. Each night ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I fall short? What will I do better tomorrow? 2. The morning preparation. Before your day begins, imagine who might challenge you. What temptations might show up? What would the virtuous version of you do? 3. Live as if a wise mentor were watching, even when no one is. Because you're the one who lives with the consequences. Real power, real peace. We chase so much money, validation, excitement. But Stoicism brings us back to one truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius, power isn't dominance. It's self-mastery. Peace isn't comfort. It's knowing you lived with integrity, even in chaos. The person you're becoming, so ask yourself, honestly. Are you living as the person you promised yourself you'd be? When pressure hits, do you stick to your values, when no one's watching? Are you proud of your choices? This is your legacy. Not your resume, not your stuff, but the inner architecture of who you became. Final words. Life is unpredictable, but virtue is yours. You can't choose what happens to you. But you can choose how you show up in the fire. You can choose character over comfort. Depth over distraction. Purpose over passivity. And in that choice, every single day, you become untouchable. Part 7. This is who you are now, and who you choose to become. Everything you've gone through led you here. Not to make you bitter, but to make you better, not to break you, but to build you from the inside out. You see, those 10 experiences, they weren't random, they were your curriculum. And now you know the truth. You are not your pain, you are what you made of it. That betrayal, it taught you boundaries. That heartbreak, it cracked you open for deeper love. That failure, it revealed where your real strength begins. That loss, it made you cherish time like never before. You didn't just survive, you learned, you grew. You chose to become someone deeper. That is power. This is the Stoic life, not some cold, distant philosophy, but a way to live with. Calm in the storm, purpose in the pressure, clarity in the chaos, and virtue in a world of noise. You don't have to escape life to find peace. You just need to show up differently. What would Marcus say to you now? Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. He would look you in the eye, not to judge, but to remind you. The path is already inside you. Your pain is not your enemy. You're not behind, you're becoming. Now it's your turn, so here's what I want you to do. Not for me, not for the views, but for you. 1. Take one idea from this video, just one, and apply it today. O. Pause before you react. O. Show courage in a hard moment. O. Say no to something that violates your values. O. Write down your virtue code. 2. Leave a comment. What experience shaped you the most? Your story might inspire someone who's right on the edge. 3. Subscribe if you want more real talk like this. This channel is for those building an inner life as strong as their outer life. This isn't the end, it's your beginning. This isn't just a video, it's an invitation. To live deeper, to think clearly, to act bravely, to become you, not the you that pleases others. Not the you that chases likes or avoids failure. But the you that rises, every time, with more truth, more virtue, more fire. So don't just watch this, live it. And when life hits again, because it will, you'll smile and whisper, this too will forge me.